Cornhusker State, a bastion of traditional values. Nebraska, the Cornhusker State, a place where rolling hills meet endless skies, a land of hard work, strong values, and deep faith. In an age of rapid change and shifting morals, Nebraska stands as a steadfast beacon of conservatism. Its people are known for their unwavering belief in individual liberty, limited government, and the importance of traditional family structures. This Midwestern state serves as a powerful example of how conservative principles can create a thriving and prosperous society. From its small towns to its bustling cities, Nebraska embodies a spirit of self-reliance and community. Neighbors look out for neighbors, families come first, and faith plays a central role in everyday life. This deep-rooted sense of community and tradition forms the bedrock of Nebraska's conservative identity. But Nebraska's conservatism is more than just a feeling. It's a commitment to policies that reflect these values. From its strong stance on life to its unwavering support for the Second Amendment, Nebraska has consistently enacted legislation that aligns with the principles held dear by conservatives across the nation. In doing so, Nebraska has become a model for conservative governance, demonstrating the effectiveness of these policies in action. In a nation grappling with questions of identity and direction, Nebraska offers a clear and compelling vision of the future. It is a future rooted in faith, family, and freedom, a future where conservative values are not just espoused, but enshrined in law. As we explore the policies and principles that make Nebraska a conservative stronghold, we gain a deeper understanding of what makes this state so unique and so important in the landscape of American politics. Policy aligned with principle, protecting what matters. Nebraska's commitment to conservative values is most evident in its legislative actions. The state has consistently enacted laws that resonate with the conservative agenda, reflecting a deep-seated belief in limited government, individual responsibility, and the sanctity of life. These policies, rather than being imposed from above, are a direct reflection of the will of the people, a testament to the strong conservative majority that shapes Nebraska's political landscape. One of the cornerstones of Nebraska's conservative policy is its unwavering stance on life. The state has been at the forefront of the pro-life movement, passing some of the most restrictive abortion laws in the country. These laws, far from being mere political posturing, represent a deeply held conviction that life begins at conception and that every unborn child deserves the right to life. But Nebraska's commitment to conservative values extends far beyond the issue of abortion. The state has also been a vocal advocate for voter ID laws, arguing that such measures are essential for ensuring the integrity of our elections. While critics argue that these laws disenfranchise voters, supporters in Nebraska maintain that they are necessary to prevent voter fraud and ensure that every vote is cast legally. Furthermore, Nebraska has taken a hard line against the legalization of recreational marijuana, choosing instead to prioritize public safety and uphold traditional values. While many states have embraced the legalization of marijuana, Nebraska remains steadfast in its belief that such substances pose a threat to individuals and communities. This stance reflects a broader conservative ethos that emphasizes personal responsibility and the importance of strong moral values. Through these policies and others like them, Nebraska has cemented its reputation as a bastion of conservatism. Its legislative actions serve as a blueprint for other conservative states looking to enact policies that reflect the will of their constituents and uphold traditional values in an ever-changing world. Faith and firearms, pillars of Nebraskan life. In Nebraska, faith and firearms are not just abstract concepts, they are woven into the very fabric of daily life. Churches dot the landscape, serving as centers of community and spiritual guidance. Hunting is a cherished tradition, passed down through generations, reflecting a deep respect for the land and a commitment to self-sufficiency. These two pillars, faith and firearms, are not seen as contradictory, but rather as complementary, each reinforcing the values of the other. Nebraskans view the right to bear arms as enshrined in the Second Amendment, not as a privilege granted by the government, but as an inherent right essential for self-defense, the preservation of liberty, and the ability to resist tyranny. This deep respect for the Second Amendment is reflected in the state's permissive gun laws, which allow for concealed carry without a permit and have minimal restrictions on firearm ownership. The role of faith in Nebraska extends beyond the walls of its churches. It permeates the state's culture, influencing its politics and shaping its social values. Nebraskans are known for their strong work ethic, their commitment to family, and their belief in the importance of personal responsibility, values often attributed to the state's deep religious roots. This faith-based worldview informs the state's approach to social issues, from its stance on abortion to its support for traditional marriage. Critics argue that this intertwining of faith and politics can lead to intolerance and discrimination, particularly against those who do not share the dominant religious beliefs. However, supporters counter that these values are what make Nebraska a strong and cohesive community, providing a moral compass and a sense of shared purpose. In Nebraska, faith and firearms are not just talking points, they are lived experiences deeply ingrained in the state's identity. They represent a way of life, a set of values that have been passed down through generations, shaping the state's character and influencing its place on the national stage. A model for the nation, Nebraska's impact on the conservative movement. Nebraska's steadfast commitment to conservative principles has not gone unnoticed. The state has emerged as a leading voice within the conservative movement, its policies serving as a blueprint for other states seeking to enact a conservative agenda. From its restrictive abortion laws to its permissive gun regulations, Nebraska has pushed the boundaries of conservative governance, testing the limits of what is politically possible and inspiring conservatives across the nation. The success of Nebraska's conservative policies has fueled a national debate about the direction of the country. Pro-life advocates point to Nebraska as proof that life begins at conception and that states have a right to enact laws protecting the unborn. Gun rights activists celebrate Nebraska's permissive gun laws as a victory for the Second Amendment, arguing that such policies make communities safer. However, Nebraska's conservative policies have also drawn criticism from those who argue that they are out of step with the values of a modern, diverse society. Pro-choice advocates condemn Nebraska's abortion laws as draconian and harmful to women. Gun control advocates argue that Nebraska's lax gun laws contribute to gun violence. Despite the controversy, Nebraska's influence on the conservative movement is undeniable. The state has become a testing ground for conservative policies, a laboratory of sorts where conservative ideas can be implemented and their effects measured. The results of these experiments have emboldened conservatives across the country, providing tangible evidence that their vision for America can be a reality.